What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite zero build duos. So you guys always ask me to make videos like this in team game modes, and I tend to do about one a season, but it's just kind of weird spectating team game modes because you can't easily switch between players of the same team. Like if you're spectating somebody and then you hit next, you don't automatically go to their teammate, which makes things kind of odd. And then also, I don't really play team game modes, and I don't really know how the matchmaking in this game works, but I pretty much only play solos. And so I don't have much games played in duo squads, whatever, this season. I don't know if that like makes the matchmaking super like newbie since I haven't played them this season. We just go anvil and see how these people play, I guess. Thought about going brutal, but it wasn't the best bus for it, even though that is like probably my favorite location so far this season. But yeah, I just feel like spectating isn't as fluid in the team game modes, and because I pretty much only play solos, that's what the game has the most data of me as a player, and I feel like that's what it could do like the best job matching me in. We do have a lot of players anvil. Luckily, should be a pretty chaotic early game. I'm going to try to walk you guys through some stuff for team game mode specific things. If you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below how many crown wins you have so far this season. Let's see if Diz000 will end up getting a crown win this game. They have a combat shotgun and a SMG. Their teammate landed on the other side of the POI, and that's not great, ideally, and this is going to be the first thing with team game modes. I think it's ideal to land close to your teammate, or like close enough to where you can help them. And it does seem like Diz is able to like help his teammate here, but he had to like forego all his looting. Like if they just landed at the same building together, then they would have been able to like completely loot that building together and have an easy time. I don't really know what's going on here. Diz is a savage. He just completely left his teammate, dropped down from the top of the building, and then went and pushed this on his own, and his teammate was nowhere near him. That is such a big play, though. That is actually so ratty, but so good. He body blocked the player that knocked him. He put his knocked body in the way of the doorway, and then that made it to where the player who knocked him couldn't go through the door. Unfortunately, though, when that player died, for some reason, we don't end up spectating the person that eliminated them, so we're just put across the map. You see these players are much tighter grouped, and that is good. They're fighting together off spawn. But already we have like some decent tips, you know, just landing with your teammates is so helpful. You want to be close enough to be able to help your teammate in a fight, but also get help from your teammate depending on the situation. And also just push things together. It's not that hard to be like, hey, I'm going to push this, come with me, or something along those lines. And it seemed like Diz didn't really do that, and that's ultimately what led to him getting eliminated there, even though he did wipe a duo on his own and then I think get decent damage on another one. Somehow this player captured the flag with these other two people in zone. Seems like we have another player going off on his own, though. Did the player that we're spectating knock somebody? I thought he knocked somebody on that egg launcher. This should be a kill. That's like 140 damage. Wow, that pump didn't kill him. GG's. That player died right away, so there's no more left from that team. That is something that's super important in team game modes. I feel like everybody knows this. But if you eliminate somebody and they die right away, their teammate is either knocked or just died as well, or had already been dead. If you eliminate somebody and they just go down, then you know their teammate is still alive somewhere. And I do recommend thirsting people. It's for some reason kind of like seen as a toxic thing to do. But whenever I do knock somebody, I will put extra bullets in them to like get their HP down to kind of force their teammate to make a play. Or just full out eliminate them. That way you don't have to worry about them getting rezzed or anything like that during the chaos. I always bait knocks in that way or thirst people. I am like non-apologetic about that. These players ended up going Kenjutsu. This is a good place to land for any game mode just because of the sheer amount of katanas that are here. But team game modes especially, it's really nice because you know for a fact, even if it's squads, you're going to be able to land here and everybody on your team is going to be able to get a katana. Guaranteed. Unless you just get really unlucky and people like steal them and leave or something. But yeah, everybody in your team should be able to get a katana here, which is really nice. I feel like that just makes the game so much easier to play. It really stinks if you're playing like squads or whatever and somebody or maybe a few people don't have the katana and other people do. It just kind of like really ruins the pacing of everything, I feel like. And it really is like boring for that one person if they happen to not have one. So they're just straggling behind everybody, not really able to do anything. I would assume they're going to go Mega City here. We'll see. But ideally, that's what I would want to do. I think the Mythic Pump is very good. In team game modes, I feel like there's more of a... Like, the difference between the pump and the, like, spammy shotguns, that gap isn't as large for me in team game modes because, you know, you're going to be potentially dealing with multiple targets at once. And so that higher fire rate, I feel like, is appreciated more in team game modes than it is solos. But even still, just having the mythic pump and being able to eliminate people pretty much instantly, I think is just very good. Whether it's squads, duos, trios, doesn't matter. Like, being able to get a knock immediately is great. And odds are, if you're just in a fight where all 4 players are able to shoot at you, you made a mistake there in some way. So these players see a llama here at 0 builds. So there's not really that much of a need to go for the llama unless they're desperate on material or not, sorry, material, ammo or heals. And like, unless they really wanted a chug cannon or something. One thing they could do, though, is spook this llama and then kind of follow it, because when the llama gets spooked, it'll run around for a little bit of time and then create a rift afterwards. So they could spook the llama, let it time out, and then take the rift and then go places like that, and then they wouldn't have to use their katana uses to get there. But doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do. But I kind of do that a decent amount in 0 build just because I don't really care about getting the llama in 0 builds. I kind of wish they would do something with the llama in 0 builds. I'm not really sure what it could be, but there's not much of a point of them because they give you ammo and heals. And then in builds, they give you a lot of material, which is very nice because you can just eliminate a llama and then you don't have to farm as much. But in 0 build, there's not as much of a reason to go for them. I'm not really sure what they could do. Leave a comment down below of what your suggestion would be for what they could do with llamas in 0 build. Maybe like guaranteed like shield bubbles or something. Like I really don't know, but I feel like they're not as sought after in 0 builds as they are builds. So it seems like this team's taking a more I guess chill approach to the game. They don't seem very intent on getting into Mega City and trying to get the vault. They just seem way more concerned about just like looting up and surviving into the game. So we'll see if that ends up panning out for them, because it definitely can. If you're just only concerned about winning from the moment you get in the game and you play it safe, it definitely can make things easier. But at the same time, with like some of the mythics this season, like the mythic pump, the legendary slurp juice, and the pulse rifle, I feel like players that just play ultra safe are at a pretty large disadvantage this season if they fight against somebody using those items that is good at doing so. I guess they are going to Mega City. I'm not sure if that other player really benefited from looting the gas station, but the player we're spectating didn't really benefit from looting the gas station. So I feel like they could have been a little bit faster on rotating, unless that other player needed something. Unfortunately, we can't see their inventory. I don't know what's going on with this player. It's like they're texting and playing or something. They just like periodically stop. And I'm kind of scared to go on board with a different player. Their combo is pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie. This back bling, I don't think goes with that skin. I think that's from the dark power cord. But it like goes well with it, even though it's not like that the skin it came with, you know what I mean? Especially like the different colors of hair. We got the dark purple on the guitar and then like the lighter pinkish purple runes that matches the right side of her hair. This player's dropping rockets for the player we're spectating. Use the egg launcher. I'm not really the biggest fan of the egg launcher. I don't think it's very good. I've yet to really use it much at all or die to it. And usually that's how I judge an item. Like if I think it's kind of not worth using for me personally, and also I'm not ever dying to it, it's just like not it. These players did get split here. We'll see if that comes into play. I don't know if there's zip lines on the other side of this building. I feel like there probably is, but that team on the hill just got like good opening tags on them, and it seems like that team on the hill is pushing. So hopefully no, the player up top is dead, and that is, you know, what I was talking about even at the start of the video, just like being within helping range of your teammate, even if you're not good at the game at all. Like, if you do 0 damage all game, just being there with your teammate and applying somewhat pressure and just shooting your gun and making chaos for the enemies makes the enemy's life more difficult. But this player kind of just, like, got beamed. Their teammate went up. They couldn't go up because they had already gotten fried. And then their teammate was just kind of left out to dry. I feel like that was miscommunication, though. I don't know why their teammate was down there. Unless maybe they got really good beams on the team on the hill. I'm not sure what went on there. And that's why I kind of wish that we could, like, switch players easily. Seems like this guy's going to get pinned from a different team, though. Yeah, that's GG's. Unfortunate. Oh, we get to spectate this player. So this team is on the hill getting picks. I think they should just be able to mop up here, potentially. If this was the same team that initially shot the player we were spectating as they were down there, I think their aim is quite good. They could definitely push up this. So if I was in this team's position, I definitely would. They could push now, but I think they could have already pushed. We don't know if the other player has a katana, but the player that we're spectating does. And the reason why I think pushing there would be really good is because you know there's 2 teams on that skyscraper fighting actively, and you saw one team get a knock. So like not only has the fight been going for a decent amount of time, but like one team at least is missing a player. And they do end up pushing, but I feel like they took a little while longer. Had they gone right away, it would have been a little bit easier. Now they have the god loot. This is excellent for them. And there's those timing on pushes can be very important, whether it's solos, duos, squads, whatever. When you have an advantage, pushing off it is super nice. But like, just to make that simpler, I don't know if I explained it poorly because, you know, they were fighting. But this team on the hill is chill. They're safe. They see two teams actively fighting on a rooftop, trading shotgun tags. Like, when people are fighting close range like that in zero build, it's usually a pretty messy fight. And they saw one person from a team get knocked. So I feel like at that point, they know it's only 3 people that are actively fighting. And then they can go as 2 healthy players and go on it and capitalize. And it's usually going to be an easy cleanup. And it works out anyways. But it just, like, wasn't as clean as it could be. I personally would drop the slurp juice for the, the chug splash for the slurp juice there. This player doesn't seem intent on doing that. But it's also... I'm not sure. So I think the slurp juice is the best healing item in the game. But like I was saying with the spammier shotguns earlier, I feel like the gaps between chug splash and the slurp juice isn't as large in team game modes as it is in solos, because you can use the chug splash to heal like multiple people at once, and there's definitely value there. There's a player underneath them. I'm not sure if they know about it, but... Or maybe that was the NPC I heard walking, actually. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but I heard footsteps, and it sounded like way too loud to be the NPC. But maybe it just was the NPC. That's weird. They have 16 opponents remaining. At this point in time, we're going into 4th zone, and the island spawns in 4th zone. And I think getting to where the island spawns first is like a pretty large advantage. Especially if you're able to get there and have your katana uses still, because like, let's say the island spawns here and then they use all their katanas getting to it, then they don't have katanas for the fight on the island, or their stuff is on cooldown. And it's, you know, difficult to know where the island is going to be because it's just random, but there are set spawns for it, and a lot of the spawns tend to be close to mid-map. So with this zone, I think the island is going to spawn somewhere over here, just because of what this zone is. What is mid-map is like closest to that, and as you see, it's there. So if they had started progressing a little bit like towards here instead of just chilling on that rooftop, they would be in position to contest the island easier. They might not care about contesting the island, it doesn't seem like it, but if you are someone that cares about contesting the island and you want to get the pulse rifle, I think getting there early is a distinct advantage. And the only way to really know, or to minimize the likelihood that you don't get there early, is just to like go somewhat near mid-map before it spawns, or whatever edge of the map is mid-map. There's also a spawn for the island over here, and personally I feel like anytime this spot is in zone, it goes there. So like if I see the zone pulling there, I'll just start going there even before 4th zone. But they don't seem to be caring about getting the island at all. They're just going to play a little bit more conservative to try to get the win. They have 12 opponents remaining in 7 teams, or 6 teams. So it's 6 duos they have to play against. Perfect team. But that is relevant to look at. I don't know if my webcam is blocking it right now, but when you open up the map like this, underneath your team's eliminations, there's a little counter that says how many players are left, and in parentheses how many teams are left. And that can be relevant to know, because like if you're in game and it's like 4 people 3 teams, then you know it's all like solos, you know what I mean? Or 5 people 3 teams, then you know that your team is like the only full team. Like you could do that reverse math and understand if it's like full teams left or like small teams left, and that is relevant, kind of more so in squads than duos. Like especially in squads or even trios, since like the team size is larger. If your team is full and you know you're the only full team in the lobby, then you know you have like pretty decent chance of winning that game as long as you kind of play it out together. I like what they're doing here though. They know this team is here, and it doesn't seem like that team saw them, so they're gonna wait and try to get a tag on them together. It seems like they're gonna want to wait and try to team shot one, and I think that makes your life significantly easier if you're playing a team game mode. It might not happen, but like let's say they just beamed that player there and they instantly get a knock, and then they have a 2v1. It's so much easier to play that fight than if one player shoots early or you don't target the same player easily. So if you have a situation like this where you're kind of trailing a team that doesn't know you're there, I feel like you definitely try to want to like sync up with your teammates and shoot the same player. Unfortunately for them, they end up doing nothing in that time, and the other team ended up spotting them, and now they're just going to be completely dead. They had split angles there, which I do think can be nice. Like I said before, you want to be close enough to help your teammates, and I feel like this player's teammate was close enough to help him in that push, but it just doesn't go their way. It didn't seem like they were the most confident close range fighters, to be honest. Like the player we were spectating seem to be panicking there, but I do like the idea of trying to get like tags on an opposing team together and get an insta knock, and then also having somewhat split angles. That way they have multiple like players to deal with at a time. But it just, that other team that ended up eliminating them was way more aggro on it, and then this team that we're spectating now ended up pulling up. So this is a really unfortunate timing for the team we were spectating, but I do like the idea of trying to like not shoot right away and not panic, and try to get a knock together and just make your life significantly easier. But you saw the team that they were pushing up on, as soon as they got that snipe, they both went on that other guy, and like he gets away for a little bit, but he's like not in the fight, you know? Like they might as well have just knocked him there and then had a 2v1. And I think getting that initial knock is so important in team game modes. Duos especially, because if you get a knock, it's only one guy left. But even in squads, like once you get a knock, that team's firepower is cut down significantly. They have to think about whether or not they're rezzing them. They have to think about, you know, how they're fighting down numbers. It just puts so much pressure on the opposing team, and that's unfortunate for that team that we're spectating. I feel like I'm a curse at this point. Every time we spectate someone, they die in an unfortunate way. They just push up into a team that's fighting, and I don't know, it didn't seem like they really hit their shots at all. I don't know what was going on there, but it's just like that opening was so beneficial for the team that we're currently on board with, and I could definitely see this team winning. This was the team that sniped the player we were spectating a team ago and then pushed him, and then they just like did that to kill that other team. They got the exotic Maven, which is very good. I could see this team winning for sure. They seem to be doing a lot of things together, you know, like both times we saw a team fight this team we're spectating now. When we were spectating the defaults, they got sniped and then they went on it. When we were spectating the team that just died, they kind of like camped together and caught them off guard because they knew they were trailing them. And they've just been doing things together and getting knocked quickly. And I feel like as long as you do things together, or as long as you're like active in a fight with your teammate, it's so much easier. And I've kind of, you know, through reading comments or when streaming on Twitch, seeing people talk about the game, I always see people talking about how their teammates don't listen to them. I feel like the easiest way to have good teamwork is just to be the one that listens. If your teammate's not going to listen to you or not follow you, just follow them, play to assist them. And that is more beneficial, I think, than two individuals kind of doing their own thing. Unless you're just significantly better than everybody in the lobby, then sure. But if you're having a hard time winning, then just play off your teammate, and I feel like it makes it so much easier. Still 3 opposing duos for this team that we're spectating. They're out here doing the challenges. Move. I think this might have been one of the I don't know, that name looks familiar, the Delicious Pie person. I think that might have been the person that killed the player that we were spectating immediately, like early on in the game. They might have my crown. That'd be pretty funny if we come back to spectating my crown that I dropped at the start for that Mizuki. So nothing's really going on in this game. I feel like it's going to be pretty campy because they've cleared this entire side of zone just running around doing challenges and haven't seen anybody. So I feel like this side is remotely clear. If you wanted to play this passive, I would go to this house here. They have like an easy route to it because they know they already cleared this. On the flip side, they could wrap around this side of zone and try to clear this way since they know that their backside is likely clear. But it just gets weird when you're in a small game like this because a team did fight while I was talking about the map. But I feel like it's a 2v2v2 right now. As soon as one team starts fighting, the other team is just going to try to third party it. So if you're like, it kind of creates a situation where everyone kind of wants to not do anything. But you just got to know that you want to end a fight quickly. If a fight is going to happen, you don't want to expose yourself too much to being like getting third partied. I feel like that is something a lot of people struggle with once they're in a fight. Like they kind of forget about everything else. But how you fight and how you play can change how exposed you are to third parties, you know? I think this team definitely has a decent chance to win. I have liked what I've seen out of them most of the time. Obviously, we haven't seen them fight too, like, as we've been spectating them, but we saw 2 fights from the opposing team's perspective playing against them. I think I just saw somebody katanaing over on that mountain over there. But like I said, when you're in this situation, okay, yeah, it seems like a fight is actively going on. So this team that we're spectating currently isn't involved in the fight, and so they have kind of all the decisions in the world. This team's sitting in a tree over there. This player seems to know about it. But I like what they're doing once again here because these two teams are fighting. Oh, now they're shooting. But I was going to say, these two teams are fighting, but they're not really heavy fighting yet. It doesn't seem like anyone's taken that much damage. So now when they get involved in the fight, everybody knows they're there because the situation wasn't too chaotic for either team that was involved in it, you know? But if they waited until that fight got a little more chaotic for the parties involved and then they started shooting, they would have caught that team off guard more likely, I think. We'll see how they play this. They also aren't in zone. There is a team currently in zone over here, but I don't like that spot. I think that team will probably just get pushed out. I would be surprised if they win. It's kind of hard to hold some zones this season without bunkers in zero build because, like, if there's bunkers, they can put the bunker down and then they have cover. Oh, that team pushed up. Okay, yeah, they definitely want to third party this. One team got a knock. Oh, I don't think they're going to get timing. Yeah. Okay, so they weren't fast enough, and now it's just a 2v2. They weren't active enough on that third party. Like, as soon as you see them fighting, you want to go on it. It's like the team we were talking about at Mega City. When you see two teams fighting and a knock, you need to get in there quick. Because if you don't, you're losing your third party timing. Because the fight is starting to go the way of one team. Oh, I don't like this at all. They're playing ratty. It can work, but it seems like they're very intent on this player here hitting a snipe. Not the one we're spectating, but the other one. It seems like they're very, very intent on that player hitting a snipe. And if they get that initiation, then good. But I don't know what they're going to do if they don't get that. And their crown's just activated, so it's likely the other team knows where they are now. Your crowns go off every zone. Neither team has zone, which is good for the team we're currently spectating. This team has pulse rifles, though. If they hit a snipe here, they can win. I think it's going to be hard for them to win if they don't hit a snipe. But we'll see. Obviously, anything can happen. But the other team seems decent, too. They have the pulse rifles. They probably have good pumps. And, like, this team that we're spectating now kind of seems like they're panicking. Like, it seems like they're very, very hard focused on the snipe, which would have been great if they could have hit one while that team was fighting. Because, like, let's say they hit a snipe after that knock happened. Then you have a knock from both teams, potentially. But as it is now, they have a straight-up 2v2. And it seems like the only way they're willing to initiate is the snipe. I wish we could switch to the other. I wish we could switch to the sniper easily. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, okay, sweet. Usually it, like, swaps me to somebody random, which at this point in the game, it's not that hard because there's only 4 people left. But, like, if I'm mid-game and I try to swap to someone's teammate and it just sends me across the map, it's, like, always irritating. And see, this is what I don't like about how they played. If they go on this guy together, they might get a kill. This was good. But they needed to, like, get that knock. No, oh my god, that was a good snipe. Okay, they win this. They win this, 100%. They hit the other guy 100 already. But when they full sent that other guy together, he's on the other book, bro. Oh, no. That's just the power of the pulse rifle. That should not be winnable, man. Wow. This player just clutched up hard. But when they went on that other guy that was alone, and then the player we were spectating hit him for 100, that's an easy cleanup. As long as they're, like, somewhat on the same page. The player we were spectating hitting 100, and then the other player having the, what's it called? The exotic Maven. That's so easy for them to clean up, you know? But they don't get that kill. This player that we're on board with now gets away. They snipe his teammate, and it's a 2v1, but they don't go to where this guy actually went. And it ends up costing them because the pulse rifle is just that good. But if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below how many crown wins you have so far this season, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.